Introduce a really valued colleague of mine and the rest of the Bridge organisations. Will be very sad that Katherine won't be as involved in the Bridge network as she has been. She has been truly inspirational. I'm reading from a piece of paper what somebody else has said about Katherine, and they've described her as an inspiring cultural activist. I would absolutely second that. She has inspired me. We've just been discussing how much she's inspired me. Katherine is the kind of person I want to be when I grow up. She combines vision with strategic insights, and that's absolutely the key here. So Katherine's going to provide us with an engaging, energising session, keynote speech, to really introduce the conference and set the context for the day. So, Katherine Zeserson, Director of Learning and Participation here at the Sage Gateshead.
Everybody who's in this room is here because you are inspiring. So I don't have a monopoly on inspiration. We are all inspiring because we have the opportunity and the motivation to work together to make transformational things happen. And I think inspiration is like air. We breathe it in and we breathe it out, and it is transformed as it passes through us. So any inspiration that I may afford to you is because of the inspiration that you or your actions affords to me. It's a completely collective process, I think, the process of inspiration. So it is my pleasure to be here. The Strong Voices programme was developed as a partnership between 5 of the Bridge organisations. And Bridge organisations, for those of you who are not familiar with the term, are organisations supported by Arts Council England to connect young people across the country with great arts and culture in a variety of ways. And there are 10 organisations dealing with the whole of the country, 1 in each of 8 English regions and 2 in the southeast. And Bridge organisations were running for 3 years. In their first phase, they've now been re-energised and re-supported by Arts Council for another 3 years. They encompass many diverse practices, many diverse ways in which young people can engage in arts and culture. And in each region, they have different characters and different partnerships. So if it's a network you're not yet familiar with, I suggest you become familiar with it, because it will be empowering for you in your work wherever you are. We decided to bid for the money that Derry talked about, because we felt that in our work of engaging young people in arts and culture, we could see that there are particular groups of young people in particular situations for whom that connection and access is more difficult. It may be more difficult for reasons of personal circumstance, it may be more difficult for reasons of structure or community or social position or whatever it might be, that there are barriers to engagement that we really wanted to look at. And also that oftentimes, the people who had least access to opportunity might be people who would really benefit from that opportunity for very particular reasons. So it's a kind of double negative if those young people aren't able to get involved and access opportunities. So when we saw the opportunity to pitch for this funding, we thought it'd be a great way to work together, to build knowledge across the country, to look at what can we do to bring together the arts and cultural sector with all of the different bodies and organisations that support young people to grow and develop, to make really precise interventions and really investigate very particular questions about engagement and access and opportunity for the benefit of the wider sector. 2 years is not a long time, and we didn't expect that in 2 years we'd be able to answer all the questions that we might ask. In fact, in 2 years, we can't even generate all the questions that there are to be asked. But what we felt we could do in 2 years was just investigate enough to open up new doors and new windows of insight for practitioners and for young people about ways in which engaging with arts and culture can transform lives, and also ways of removing the barriers to that kind of engagement. So, diversity is a strength of Strong Voices, just as it's a strength of the Bridge network. So in each of the 5 partner areas, you can see our logos there: Sage Gateshead, Curious Minds, Cape UK, and New Direction and Arts Work, covering the north of the country, so we've got northwest, Yorkshire and northeast, and then London and part of the southeast. So in each of our areas, we've been exploring different particular questions, and throughout the day today, you'll be able to hear very particular and detailed narratives about those questions. So in some cases, we've been exploring work with young people who have special educational needs and disabilities. In some situations, we've been working with young people who may be looked after. We've been working with young people not in employment, education and training. We've come to meet young people from different contexts. Sometimes we've been working in partner organisations and settings that are places of exploration and security for young people. Sometimes we've been helping organisations to meet and reach young people in order to involve them in their programmes. So it's an extremely diverse. What you can see behind me, I think, expresses some of that diversity. These are images from across the whole of the Strong Voices programme that give you a sense of the range. Young people have worked with music theatre, music production, dance, animation, ceramics, photography, music, film, light graffiti, radio, visual arts, textile, sculpture and forum theatre, and probably more that isn't on my list. They have engaged in those art forms through a variety of different practice and project models that you'll hear about. They've also achieved accredited outcomes like Arts Award, Duke of Edinburgh Award, Leeds Youth Awards, AQA Introduction to Volunteering. The work has supported GCSE work, and to underpin that, we've created a programme of CPD and training for practitioners to try and build a knowledge base and a confidence about how to support young people from different situations to engage effectively in the arts. We've involved many different cultural institutions, the Yorkshire Sculpture Park, the Barbican, the London Palladium, the Royal Navy Museum, Chinese Centre for Contemporary Art, the Sage Gateshead, a real diverse partnership of organisations. I think one of the most important insights from the programme has been that it is often more challenging than we would expect it to be, to enable a cultural organisation, a youth work or social support partner, and young people to work together to co-construct whatever a process, a project or a programme might be to meet the needs of those young people. And this is a subset of exploration that is really the business of the bridges. The business of the bridges is to how to make those better connections. So what we've done is really try and look at a very particular subset of partnerships and processes and think, how do we do those better and what learning can we take from this process? And when I was thinking about how to set you up for a day of learning and exploration, and I was considering what are the most important insights, I read through all of our quarterly reports. So that's 7 quarterly reports we've done for the Department for Education and a whole range of case studies. And what really got me was 3 key things, which I'm afraid they do all start with the same letter, so it is a bit of a cheesy alliteration, but it kind of worked for me, which was about connection, collaboration, and creativity. And what I could see in all of the stories was very distinctive and characteristic illustrations of what it's like to connect and what it's like to collaborate and what it's like to create together. So if we start by thinking about connection, oftentimes what we discovered is that organisations didn't know about each other. It's the oldest trick in the book. First of all, you have to find out who's there and what's there. But it becomes more and more difficult in a landscape where organisations have often been decimated by public sector funding cuts, people have left, organisational knowledge is left, relationships have changed because the community has changed, the ecosystem in a place has changed. And so people don't know who's there and they don't know what's there and they don't know why the picture may have changed in a particular context. So youth work partners, social support partners and cultural partners don't necessarily see the opportunity that might be derived through connection. So one of the things that we've really looked at is what is needed in the landscape we're now in to regenerate that sense of importance of connection. Many people have been doing this kind of work for many years. The idea of creative arts projects that support young people or indeed people of any age to flourish and grow and work through particular challenges is not new. But what we found is that much of that great practice has either been locked down in a very particular kind of knowledge base, in a particular institution, or vested in particular people, or was in an ecosystem that's been shattered in some way by the passage of time. So connection was a really important first part, reaching out, finding partners, recognizing that difficulties of communication are transitory. We can experience difficulties of communication as barriers, but really we can turn them into processes. The investigation of the difficulties teaches us things about one another, and it teaches us things about how to work together. It teaches us things about how to establish common purpose, recognizing common challenges. It's good partnership practice, but even more than that, it's good human practice. It's recognizing that if you're a youth worker who's been working for a long time in a particular community with a particular group of young people that you know extremely well, and you meet someone from a cultural organisation who's never worked in your community, doesn't know those young people really well, but has something very interesting to offer, that finding out what might be possible through that connection needs good human behaviour as much as it needs good professional behaviour. It's recognising that when someone says something about you and your work that you feel is disparaging, it probably isn't. They probably just don't understand. They probably don't know your language. They probably haven't worked in your environment, and they're probably making assumptions about what you do that are inaccurate. But nobody comes into a dialogue with the intention of alienating the person that they're trying to connect with. So before moving on to collaborate and create, the other 3 points of my stool, I would like you to connect with one another for a moment. So what I'd like you to do is talk to somebody next to you, and I'd like you to share an experience of connection in professional practice that comes to your mind, either because it felt really positive and effective and it has helped you with the work you're trying to do, or because it's difficult and why it might be difficult. And you can make a connection right here, right now, with that person with whom you're speaking. If you're online, what we'd love you to do is send us your examples of connection in your practice from the same perspective, things that have worked and things that haven't worked. So just take 2 minutes to do that right now. Okay, if you can't finish the story now, you can finish it in a break. So you're dipping your toe into the waters of connection. So the thing about connection is that it's dynamic, it's not static. As soon as you start making a connection with someone, or organizationally, as soon as you start making a connection with an organization, things begin to happen and you start to spin out from your original purpose and you start to explore different opportunities and possibilities, which leads us to collaboration. And I think collaboration, I was thinking about this from my experience as a musician. So as musicians, we collaborate a lot, and sometimes we collaborate with people for a long time, and then sometimes we're having to meet new people and immediately find a way of collaborating quite quickly. And I think there's something about a spectrum of risk and sacrifice in collaboration. So how does it feel to have to put forward the thing that you cherish and then realize that it's not going to remain exactly the same if you collaborate with someone on some particular purpose or project or process? And what do you have to give up in order to make the thing happen? And all of you are experienced partnership workers, I have no doubt of that, and you're all familiar with those core principles of identifying common purpose, understanding that to collaborate we do not need to agree about everything. Collaboration is a Venn diagram relationship in which we can identify things about ourselves and our purpose about which we're in full agreement, and then a whole range of things that we might not share, might not agree about, might not be interested in, and might not like. But it doesn't matter, because as long as we can agree to work together on the things that we've put in the center of the picture, the rest can just be respected. And that process of collaboration takes time, it takes space, it takes reflection. We built in an action research process, which my colleague Pat Cochrane from Cape UK will talk about later on. And that action research process was really about helping to put reflection into everybody's process, because to collaborate truly, you have to be able to navigate those challenges of risk and sacrifice, and you have to reach a depth of relationship that means that you can accept the changes that are going to happen, and you can accept the challenges to what you want that you inevitably have to adopt. That's true in organizational collaboration, and it's true in personal collaboration. And I think one of the things that's very interesting to me about Strong Voices is how we can see mirrored in the narratives about young people and the discoveries that young people have made through the program about themselves and about how they can work with others. We can see that narrative mirrored precisely in the discoveries that organizations and practitioners have made about their experience of collaboration and working with others. So learning is an iterative spiral. Young people involved in our program are no less wise or more wise than the professionals who implement the program. We just know different things, and we've had different experiences. So in collaborating to bring together in a democratic way that range of insights and experiences, we give ourselves this rich mix from which we can invent things. And that is something which I think needs continual reinforcement in a political climate in which we are driven by reason of particular funding frameworks to a slightly competitive, or in some cases perhaps a very competitive, way of relating to one another as institutions, as freelance practitioners, as sectors, education, arts, health. We're driven towards an idea that we're having to fight for resources, and we're driven therefore towards an idea that our way of addressing particular challenges or bringing about particular visions is a better way than the way of others. We're driven into a way of thinking that is binary and makes somebody wrong while we're right. And that mindset is very undermining to collaboration, because collaboration thrives on the excitement of discovering that somebody else's idea is really great and somebody else's way of doing something is challenging and transforming to our own organizational or personal practice. So what I think we've seen in Strong Voices is that there has been a lot of pressure on education, culture and youth sectors in the last 5 to 7 years in particular, that has led to perhaps some of people's best intentions about collaboration not being able to come to fruition because it's difficult. And I think the inspiring insights from Strong Voices, as you'll hear later on, is that it's worth bothering. It is worth bothering to push through that hard part, because the results are extraordinary, and the release of pressure, it's such a relief to realize that you don't have to do it all yourself. And there are so many mission-driven and absolutely passionate people, young people, people who support young people, institutions and organizations who want to create a more just landscape in which everybody has access to the benefit of arts and culture. It's such a relief not to have to do it by yourselves. And we have some really nice quotes and narratives that describe that sense of relief and benefit, and just simple things about how much easier it is for people to do their work when people are working together. We have made far greater progress in the last 12 months and are now in a far stronger position to offer a quality programme of creative arts workshops and activities for young people than we would have ever been if we had had to develop this independently. It's so simple. And that's from HMS Warrior, which is not a place where, before this programme, there had been a tradition of either focus on young people who had challenges to access or working collaboratively. So in only 2 years, that transformational shift has been made in how they can collaborate. Create. So why bother with the arts and culture? So I'm not going to give a speech about why arts and culture are important. There are heaps and heaps of resources to support that. The Cultural Learning Alliance website is a great source of evidence, reports and research about the benefits of arts and culture. When the conference is over, we'll be writing to you and sending you information about where you can access all of our case studies and things. But self-actualization, making our mark in the world, knowing that we are who we are, is such a fundamental part of being able to be who we are and live fully the brilliant thing, the perfect person that we are. Realizing who we are is a very challenging thing if we've been told that we're wrong, if we've been told that we're stupid, if we've been told that we're bad, if we've not had the opportunity to find a language that works for us, because words don't work for everybody. The dominant language of our culture doesn't empower everybody equally. So what we can do through creative practice in the arts is we can release that power for people. We can release the power of the self through creativity by doing creativity together. And I would like us to conclude this morning's keynote experience with doing a bit of creating together. And I will be kind and gentle with you. I'm a musician, so the thing I'd like to invite you to do with me is make some music. If you're at home and you want to make some music by yourself, that's fantastic. If you would like to do something else, then my invitation to you is to write a short haiku, a 17-syllable poem, about your experience of the day so far, and then email it through to us. But the rest of us are going to do a little bit of singing. Are you ready for that? Are you okay? Are you up for that? Okay, we're going to sing a very, very short song. And actually, Derry gave me the cue. I wasn't sure what song to do. Derry said it's a beautiful day and the sun's shining. So we'll sing a song about it being a beautiful day and the sun shining. So I'm going to sing you the little song, just as it is, and then we'll try and learn to sing it together. Great day and the sun is shining. Great day. The sun's gonna shine on everyone. So all you have to do is repeat after me. Great day, great day, great day and the sun is shining. Great day and the sun is shining. Great day. Great day, the sun's gonna shine on everyone. The sun's gonna shine on everyone. So could I invite you to sit up? You are your instrument. So you need to give your instrument the best possible chance of working. So if you could sit up, that would really, really help. and just be a bit relaxed in your chair and look at me. That way you're not aware of everybody else. Just look at me and smile. And if you're thinking, oh, I bet people are going to think I'm really stupid, notice you're not thinking they're really stupid. That's really important, okay? So we'll just sing this together. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. Great day. Great day and the sun is shining. Great day. The sun's gonna shine on everyone again. Great day. Great day and the sun is shining. Great day. The sun's gonna shine on everyone. Could I ask you to do it once more, and could I ask you to stand up? So if you're at home, especially if you're in your office and your colleagues don't know what you're doing, it would be great if you could just stand up and sing this at your computer. That'd be really exciting. 1. Oh, and if you want, feel free to beatbox, add bass lines, harmonize, or do anything that you might be moved to do. I might do that. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Great day. Great day and the sun is shining. Great day. The sun's gonna shine on everyone again. Doom, doom, doom. Doom, great day and the sun is shining. Doom, doom, doom. The sun's gonna shine on everyone. Have a great day, everybody.